Hello and welcome to the American Business Systems webinar. My apologies, had a little bit of technical difficulty getting things launched up here. I accidentally pulled up the wrong file and it took me a minute to find it. So thank you for your patience. Um, I can see that everybody is starting to log in. We've got loads of people joining us from all over. As a little bit of housekeeping, as everybody gets settled into the meeting, I would love to know if the audio is working properly and the slides are working properly and you're able to see things on screen. If you wouldn't mind going to your Q&A button in your Zoom controls, you could send a quick note and just let us know that everything is working properly and I clicked all the right buttons logging in here. So you can find that in your Zoom controls. There should be a Q&A button and you should be able to type it in there. Veronica, thank you. Veronica says it's working. Jenny also says it looks good. Obviously, I'm coming through. Aruna, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. Again, I apologize for a little bit of a late start here. That is on me. And it looks like pretty much everybody is in and has settled in and things seem to be working. If anybody has difficulty seeing the slides or hearing my voice, please do send a message through the Q&A panel and we'll try to get that sorted out. Since we are starting a little late here, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Jason Pettit, and I am the Chief Growth Officer here at American Business Systems. I have been a part of American Business Systems for 18 years. American Business Systems has been helping people start successful medical billing businesses for 32 years. So we've been in this space for a very, very long time. We're involved with several organizations in the franchise world. One of those is Franchise Dictionary Magazine, which is an awesome publication. If you're looking into franchises and starting your own business, Franchise Dictionary is totally free. You can grab a copy at franchisedictionary.com. And we are very fortunate. For the last 5 years, we have been listed in the top 100 game changers in Franchise Dictionary. So we're very proud of that. And if you haven't checked it out, go get your free copy of Franchise Dictionary. As I mentioned, we've been helping people start successful businesses like this for 32 years. We have everything that you need to start a successful medical billing business. That includes software, of course, marketing materials, a website for your business, live training with a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. We're the only franchise in the world with a 30-day training guarantee. And also we have lifetime support, and we have a wonderful support team to make sure you're successful. If you are looking for ways to explore American Business Systems, a really good way to do that is to grab our free ebook right on our main website. You can see our URL down at the bottom right of this slide, absystems.com. If you haven't made it to our main site yet, you can type that in. At the very top right corner, you'll see the 5 Secrets to Success ebook. That's going to go over the basics of what it takes to start a successful medical billing business. So if you didn't know you had access to that, now you know, and you can go grab your free copy right now. We've had a few people join us since we started and went live with the webinar. So those of you that just joined us, we are going to be taking questions live throughout the next 45 minutes or so. And you can send questions to us through the Q&A panel. And you can start typing those questions in right now. And we are going to start answering those here in just a few minutes. If you have a burning question, you can go ahead and put it straight into that Q&A panel, and we will get those queued up and start addressing those very quickly. I'd like to introduce my co-host, and in just a second, he's going to log on and say hello. Adam Phillips is our CEO. He's a published author, most recently with the 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. That's an awesome book. It's actually a book that our owners use to market their businesses, and we'll go over that a little bit later in the webinar. Adam's also published many different articles on Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. That is on the website, and you can check those out, industry topics and he has weighed in with many different articles there. And without further ado, since we got a little bit of a late start here, I'll introduce you to our CEO and my best friend from grade school, Adam Phillips.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Adam. Thanks for joining us, and my apologies for having a little bit of trouble with the slide deck there. Please don't fire me.
You're safe for now.
Safe for now. So
Yep.
far, so good. Um, well, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to take questions live. And I can see we've only got a couple of questions so far. So for those of you who are attending today, it's going to make this webinar a lot more fun if you type your questions in. So if you haven't already, find the Q&A button in the Zoom controls and you can start typing your questions in. I know several of you have already figured out how to do that because you helped let me know that the audio was working and you could see the slides. So start putting those questions in and we will start tackling those live. The first question that I see is, how do I get clients? How do I get clients? That is probably the number one question that we get from individuals looking into a business like this. And Adam, do you want to talk a little bit about our marketing strategies and how we teach our owners to grow their businesses?
Sure. Yeah. And I was just thinking, it might be good to just, quickly go into like a, 30,000 foot view of what this is all about. There may be some people here they've been on webinars all day long and they're like, which one is this one? Like, what are we doing here? So I'd be
Good
happy
point.
to happy to give a, brief overview of what this is all about. So as far as marketing goes, this is a complete package, a business opportunity that helps people launch their own business specifically in the medical billing and revenue cycle management space. There's a huge amount of opportunity here still, even though we've been doing this for so long. There's a lot of people that they ask us, well, aren't doctors just having someone do their billing in their office and everything's fine? No, the answer is no. We have seen firsthand by going into medical practices and taking a look at their books that a lot of medical practices are in much more disarray than you might think. They are so overworked and undertrained. A lot of the staff are undertrained that they don't have time to really figure out how to, properly, submit these claim forms to insurance companies. They really struggle with what to do when the insurance company denies a claim, and it's like, well, why was this one denied? I don't know. Like it's a real big hassle and a pain in the butt. And most practices are starting to realize, you know what, if we have an expert outside of the office just focused on this one core thing that we need to get done, then that frees up the doctor and their staff to do everything else they have to do relating to patients and patient care and all that good stuff. And so we're able to increase their revenue, lower their claim denials. There's all kinds of benefits to them using one of our business owners. So that's kind of a 30,000 foot view there. That's why we do what we do. But we have about a dozen different marketing methods that we teach. We've been doing this for a long time, like Jason said, over 30 years, and we've really been able to kind of perfect and evolve the marketing methods that we've been using. There are a lot of methods that really have just worked year after year after year, tried and true methods that work. And I'll tell you right now, it focuses very heavily on referral based marketing. We show you how to meet people that can put you in touch with doctors. It's all about that warm introduction. That's what you really want. And then we have tools like that book that you just saw earlier that I wrote. We have different tools like that you can offer to people to just basically start educating doctors on, why they would want to outsource, why that makes more sense. And so, you're building credibility by giving them these free educational materials. And so we go into this whole process of how to build up your credibility, how to set yourself apart from other medical billing companies. And it's this whole set of steps that we have developed that if you follow those steps and you allow us to help you with those steps, most people get a doctor signed up as a client in 30, 90 days, somewhere around there on average, after finishing the training. So that's kind of the fast answer for the marketing. What do you think about that?
That works. Most people do pick up their first client pretty quickly. There's a lot we could dive into with marketing strategies because with American Business Systems, we actually teach 10 different marketing strategies. So we've got lots of different ways to help our owners get clients. It is somewhat dependent upon the owner's preference and personality and skill set as far as which marketing strategy they choose. But we do have a few strategies that tend to be the more popular ones that are chosen more often and that our owners have quicker success with. Two of those that I'll just touch on really quickly. One is business networking groups. So our owners are marketing to private practice doctors. And if you just think about what that looks like, how do you market to a private practice physician? Do you just walk into the office and tap on the glass that the receptionist is sitting behind and try to talk with somebody? It's probably not going to get you very far. The receptionist is going to be trained to turn salespeople away at the door. So we've had to develop strategies that don't rely on cold calling. And most people that start businesses with us don't want to do cold calling anyway. So business networking groups is a great way to expand your professional circles, meet other people who are running their businesses. And over time, you develop relationships in these business networking groups and can get introduced to the doctors who are clients of your peer group in your business networking group. It's a really effective tool. For decades, we've had our owners successfully use that marketing method. And I would say, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but I would say most of our owners at some point in their marketing do join a business networking group because it's just good practice to do. Another method that is very similar to that is using medical sales reps. And this is a really effective tool because compared to business networking groups, using a sales rep is faster because the sales rep has the relationships already developed with the doctor's offices. And when you find a good sales rep, they can just start introducing you to the doctors that they already have done business with. They can just help you set that first appointment with the office manager to do some information gathering so that we can figure out what you'll be able to do for that particular doctor. And this is actually going to dovetail pretty nicely into the next question we have in the queue with Pierre. Pierre is asking, what makes you different from others? And that question could be in two different categories. It could be what makes American Business Systems different than other franchise opportunities. I'll talk just for a moment about that. But the other side of that question might be what makes the businesses of our owners different than other medical billing companies. So that's two different, kind of questions. So the first one, there's a lot of differences between us and conventional franchises. Number one, we're a $35,000 total all-in investment. Most franchises, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, that's just the welcome mat. You're going to pay that as a franchise fee. And then in addition to that, you're going to have usually much more capital required beyond that franchise fee. With us, it's one investment, one business package. We don't have multiple levels, $35K. Everything you need is built in, and that includes the training and the support. Another thing that makes us different, as I mentioned before, is the 30-day guarantee. We have a 30-day unconditional 100% money-back training guarantee. No other franchise in the world guarantees their training. We feel like it's really important for our new owners to feel comfortable that they made the right decision. So when you invest with us and go through training, if it doesn't feel like it's the right fit for you, you let us know. We send the $35,000 right back to you. So those are two key differences from us and other franchises. As far as what makes us different when it comes to other medical billing companies, when you start your business with us, what's the competition like? That's a simple answer. We get better results with the doctor's claims filing. So our owners are managing the claims reimbursement process with the insurance companies. And on average, our owners get 20 to 30% increased revenue over whatever solution the doctor has in place before time. So that's what makes us different. We help these doctors make more money, and usually that's 20 to 30% increased income. Um, Anything to add to that one? Pierre, thank you for your question. That's a great question, a great topic. And there's several other questions in here. For those of you who are joining us late, I saw a couple of people log in. You can go to the Q&A section in your Zoom controls, click the Q&A button, and you can type your questions in, and we're going to be taking those questions for about the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, I did have a little bit more to add because different from others, there's another way to answer that. If by others you mean, I mean, basically there's a lot of, medical billing training programs and schools and other things that are a lot less expensive than we are. There's a lot of different software companies that, that you could certainly, do your own research and purchase. And it's the fact that we have put all of these tools and partnerships and software platforms and training and ongoing support, everything all rolled into one that really separates us. And there's no other company that has what Jason mentioned a moment ago: no territories, no royalties, using a cloud-based platform and a money back guarantee. There's no one out there doing those things like we are. So hopefully maybe that answers the other side of that particular question. Diana was asking, is there a computer program for billing provided? Great question. The answer is yes. And we actually take it one step further. We realize that software systems cannot be all things to all practices. There are many different types of practices, different specialties, practice sizes that have different needs in terms of software. And so for you to only be stuck being able to use one system alone would definitely be a negative. And so what we have done, our expertise is not software development, Diana. So our expertise is marketing and helping get doctors to the finish line where they're signing contracts with you. That's what we're good at. So what we have done in terms of software is we have partnered with several of the top rated software platforms in the country that you can look up on software rating sites, and you can see all their reviews and their ratings and everything. They're very, very highly rated. There's 3 primary platforms that we have, and they have different features. They have different pricing tiers. But the cool thing is there's something for everyone. Like with the platforms that we have, any specialty, any opportunity that you run across, we should be able to help them in some way or another. Now, that being said, I also want to point out, Diana, that the old ways of, trying to sell software to doctors and get them to use your software and you using it at home, cloud-based, all that model is trending towards not really being the way that it used to be. And what I mean is that a lot of times you will run across an opportunity where a doctor, wants your services, but they just don't want to change software. They've been there, they've gone through several different, iterations of implementation with different systems, and they're just like, I just want to stick with what I got. Can you help me? In my opinion, you should tell them, yes, we absolutely can help you. And so a lot of our business owners, they're not trying to force them to change software or anything like that. They will actually set up a contract where they, get into their current system, and they're still able to do a much better job than what the doctors were doing before, because they're able to focus more on the issues at hand with the billing and denials and, denial management and stuff like that. So don't think that you have to try to twist a doctor's arm into buying software or selling them something. That's not the case anymore like it used to be. And so we're still helping you. It's like, well, why do I want ABS then if I'm not selling software? It's because of our marketing expertise and the fact that even if a doctor wants to stay with their current platform, we will help you by getting on sales calls, helping you close the deal and get a contract signed where they're still paying you a percentage to do the billing, but they don't have to change software. So that's pretty cool in my book. You want to take another question?
Let's do another one.
All right.
Thanks for the great question, Diana. Aruna is asking, I think asking what the cost is for a sales rep, I believe is the question there. And Aruna, it depends. Using a sales rep, depending on the experience and the contact database that that sales rep has, the doctors that they already have relationships with, and what type of client they're introducing you to can have an effect on how much you're paying them. So with sales reps, we usually recommend a full commission arrangement. Paying a sales rep a salary is you'd have to really have a sales rep that had some good character, because a lot of times a sales rep will just sit on a salary and do the bare minimum, and then you don't get much out of it besides paying their paycheck every other week. So having a full commission means that they actually have to perform introductions and get you connected with doctors that are going to ultimately end in a client before they make any money. And so the full commission tends to motivate the sales reps more. There's different types of clients. You might have a client that is going to generate $2,000 to $3,000 a month in income for you. You might have a group practice that's going to generate $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 a month or more. So the sales rep is going to expect to be compensated more for a larger client. So for smaller clients, a $2,000 to $3,000 one-time commission is in the range of what to expect. You'll have a commission agreement in place, so you'll agree with that sales rep what you're going to pay them ahead of time. But for a really large account, it could be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. But the difference will be you're going to generate roughly that much money per month from that client you picked up. So the way to think about this is whatever you're going to earn from that client in income for yourself each month is roughly what the commission to the sales rep is going to be. So in other words, you're going to hand that first month's income from the account over to the sales rep, but then you're making that money for years and years from that client.
Yeah, that's great. I had a couple of thoughts on that as well. Just to let you know, Aruna, if you have limited time in this business, like for example, if you're working full time, and we have a lot of business owners that they have a full-time job, they're going through our training, they launch their business, but they just can't quit their job right away because they're making decent money, and so they have to kind of do this on the side. If you have very limited time, sometimes a sales rep is a good idea. And we can, ultimately it's up to you to hire your own sales rep. So it could be anybody you want. But we have resources for you to go online to find people. We have sample, commission structures, contracts, sales scripts, sales presentations, a lot of different materials that you can use to get sales reps up to speed. But I say all that to say, this is not a traditional sales position in terms of like, if you're scared of sales and marketing, we teach you how to do relationship building with people. If you can go to a networking event and you can just talk to people and offer to help them, with whatever they need as far as networking and, putting them in touch with other contacts, and it's very, very low. What am I trying to say? It's very, very non-aggressive sales. I mean, in a way it's selling, but you're not trying to do any hard closing, or it's nothing like selling used cars or anything like that. So a lot of people that have gone through our program, once they finish the training and they did not think of themselves at all as like a salesperson, they say, you know what, I actually do feel comfortable with some of these marketing methods. They're very, I can do drip marketing, email campaigns. I can go to a networking event every once in a while. Like it's not as hard as you might think, I guess is my point. So I just wanted to add those 2 cents.
Most people think about sales, they think about cold calling. Nobody wants to do cold calling.
Yeah.
Same with me. You want to talk with people who want to talk with you. That's why some of these marketing strategies are preferred by our owners. Using sales reps That's not cold calling, that's a warm introduction. They're setting the expectation with the doctor's office, introducing you, helping you set the appointment. That's the way to do it. So, you're not knocking on doors, and that's rough in any industry. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
You want me to take another one here?
Yeah. You could take Barry's question there.
Okay, Barry's asking, what would be the exact cost to our customers for our billing services? Is there something in addition to our fee that's passed on to the customer, such as monthly service charges that go to ABS? Okay, so when our business owners do a contract with a medical practice, that contract is directly between the medical practice and your company that we help you set up, Barry. So that's another thing maybe we didn't specify is, when you become an ABS business owner, you're not American Business Systems. We help you create your own business entity. You have your own website, your own logo, your own brand, and you truly are the owner of the business. You are now the CEO, Barry. So when you do business with a doctor, they sign a contract with you, your company, and typically our owners are getting somewhere in the range of around 5 to 9% of the billing volume, the dollar volume that they're bringing in for the doctors. And so we can talk about, what that might be. A single family practice, like with one doctor in it, you're looking to make maybe 35 to 40,000 a year on that one doctor, which is only about 1 hour of work a day, by the way. So it varies greatly depending on the practice size, the volume, the specialty, and things like that. But that's one thing our support team helps you with in putting your proposals together to make sure that you're offering a competitive rate. You're not going to leave any money on the table. It's going to be something that's attractive to the practice, but typically you're in the 5 to 9% range. As far as additional fees and such, the only other factor is if they do choose to use one of our software platforms. There's several different ways that you can set that up as well. You can actually have them contract directly with the software partner so that they're paying the practice is paying the software partner directly. Or some of our business owners will actually build that fee into the percentage that they're charging, like the 7%, whatever that may be. And the business owners will contract with the partner and pay that behind the scenes. And so you've got it built into your cost to what you're invoicing. And so the doctors in that case, they don't even see any extra fees or anything. They're just paying the 7% and they're happy with that. And that's, everything's taken care of behind the scenes. So that's it. And again, I think we mentioned this before, but there's nothing else that's going to ABS. There's no fees that's going to ABS. Any platform fees would be going to our platform partner. So there's no royalty fees or anything like that, like we mentioned. But the good news is, because you may be sitting there going, well, how the heck does ABS make money then? We do make money from our partners. So we have a contract with all of our different software service partners. We get a small little piece of transactions that go through from our business owners, from our partners. And so that's really what you want. I mean, you want to know that we are committed to continue helping you, because if you continue signing up clients on these platforms, we're making money on the back end and everybody wins. So that's how we make our money.
Yeah. You said owners and then you said partners. So just to clarify, the way we make money is through our strategic partners. We have 4 different software partners and
Yes.
like a dozen services partners. So when the doctor chooses to use the software or one of the services from our strategic partners in their office, they pay a subscription fee or transaction fee, and our strategic partner does a revenue share with us, and we get a small percentage of that behind the scenes. The benefit of that is we don't have any kind of royalty structure like you would have with a conventional franchise. Most conventional franchises, you're going to be paying between 5% to 10% of your gross revenue every month to the franchisor. Not with us. No royalties of any kind, no profit sharing, no splits, no percentages. When you invoice the doctor for your billing service, the doctor pays your company and we don't touch it. No one touches it. So I just
Yep.
wanted to be extra clear there. You are not paying American Business Systems. After that $35,000 investment, we're there to make sure you're successful. And we're only making money when you are successful getting clients and those doctors are choosing to use the systems and services of our partners. We feel like that's a really synergistic setup. I kind of hate that word, but we feel like everybody wins in that scenario. Barry, thanks for your question. That was an excellent one. I see there's a follow-up question from Barry. He asked, can we target dental offices? Yes, you absolutely can. We have a dedicated dental billing platform. The only thing I'll say about dental billing is you make roughly half of the income from a dentist when you pick them up as a client. Perfectly fine for you to go after that market, but relatively the same amount of work for half the income. We certainly don't suggest that you target dental clients. We have about 30 types of specialty medicine, and we teach our owners to target those types of specialty medicine because you make more money. The doctor's revenue goes up, usually way up, and the benefits of the systems and services that we have tend to be stronger with those types of medicine. So we teach you those types of medicine and how to target those in your marketing. Great questions, Barry. We appreciate it. Keep them coming.
Yep, good stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, I just canceled that one out. Were you typing? I don't know if that messed you up. Okay, so Pierre had a question. Walk us through the process on onboarding new providers, requirements, timeline, contract with vendors. Well, we just addressed the contract thing. But basically, as far as onboarding, that's another really great benefit to working with us, being an ABS business owner, is when they sign that contract with you, they are then put in touch with one of our technology partner implementation teams and put on their schedule and a timeline to get the system set up. And so they're going to let you know, you're going to basically be able to be on some of these implementation calls, but they are going to run the show. They are going to tell you and the doctor all the information that they need to get everything set up. And, it depends, timeline, of course, varies depending on which bells and whistles they want, because there are several different options as far as EHR and all kinds of different things. And so the timeline, Jason, what kind of timeline are we seeing for implementation? I would say 4 weeks, average of 4 weeks, probably.
Yeah, 30 days or less is the average. You can have really large medical practices, and in some cases, you can have additional complexity and customization. But our onboarding teams are going to, they're going to be transparent about that ahead of time. We are way under the industry average for onboarding time. For systems like this, doctors would expect to take 3, 4, 5, 6 months to go through an implementation, and that can be really frustrating. So we do have an advantage since our implementations are so quick, less than 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Great question. Thank you, Pierre. Keep them coming.
He did type in a follow-up. Do you assist with contract with rep providers, vendors, etc.? Yes, we can certainly help you. In reviewing contracts, basically any kind of contract that you might need with a sales rep or a doctor. We've already got those templates created and ready to go for you. They're almost just kind of like a fill in the blanks kind of thing. And so we teach you how to do that. We teach you how to fill out, your own contracts. But of course, before you send those, you can set up a call with our support team, and we will review that line by line and make sure that you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's and everything makes sense. So we absolutely will assist you with not only contracts, but we help you with the initial practice analysis, which is one of the marketing steps that we teach you, is how to do an analysis of a practice to kind of figure out where their costs are and where their trouble spots are. So we help you review the results of that data that you gather. That's usually done with the office manager. And then we also help with proposals. So before you get to the contract, there's a proposal. And that's probably the most vital part, is you're taking the numbers from that practice analysis and you're putting them into a proposal that says, okay, based on the information that you guys provided to me, I've identified some trouble spots, and some of my platforms are going to be able to reduce your cost in these areas, A, B, C, D. and here's what I'm going to charge to do it. And so we help you put together that proposal that it's never going to have all of our services. I mean, you saw those white boxes. We've got like a dozen different services. You're never going to offer all of them to every doctor at once. That doesn't make any sense. That's too overwhelming. So our support team will make recommendations. We're going to say, okay, for this particular practice, we recommend that you offer your billing service and maybe our audit guard service and maybe our choice pay service. And here's what you should price it at, those line items. And it's going to be a la carte. It's going to be this much for this much for this much for this. So it's a lot of assistance on that.
Yeah, we're right by your side. We partner very, very closely with our owners, especially our new owners, to make sure that they're getting all the help they need with contracts and every other aspect of growing and managing the business. And you get unlimited lifetime support. There's no cap to it. We don't charge for it. Remember, we make money when you're successful and get clients, and when those doctors choose to use the systems and services of our partners. So we need you to be successful just as much as you do. Thanks for the question, Pierre. Keep them coming. We appreciate it. Jenny's got a question about the cost of the software. We have 4 different partners when it comes to software. Our main partner is the monthly subscription fee is $281. So it's very affordable for a medical practice. Most doctors at this point are used to paying for software as a service. So the subscription model is very much acceptable these days. And Jenny also has a second part to the question. If the doctor wants to keep their own software, is the business owner on their own to learn it? So yes, the doctor can choose to keep using their software. That is definitely one scenario that our owners, take on all the time. We can also do integrations with the doctor's platform as well. So, for example, if the doctor had an electronic health records charting system that they really liked and they didn't want to move away from that, the charting system is what the doctor uses actually in the encounter with the patient. When they're doing the e-prescribing and putting in the chart notes and all that type of thing with the patient in the exam room, they may not want to move away from that, especially if in some areas of specialty medicine, they have really customized charting software. And so they can keep their charting software, and then we can integrate that with our practice management system. So the front office of the doctor's office uses our practice management system, but the physician they get to keep their electronic health records charting system so they don't have to learn a new tool to see patients with. That's pretty common implementation. But yes, you're right. Our owners can also choose to do the billing on whatever platform or software the doctor chooses. You are responsible for maintaining the claims filing if you choose to take that on. Filing medical claims on different systems is virtually identical. It's a pretty simple function. Jenny, if you haven't had a software demo from your rep at ABS, I would recommend circling back with your rep and asking for a software demo, because they can show you what it looks like to file a claim. And although we have some advantages with our system, it's not going to be dramatically different from software to software platform. You're putting in the codes, usually there's a diagnostic tool or some other function, then you submit the claim, and then you follow that claim electronically as it gets reviewed and approved and paid out by the insurance company. Most systems are going to work in a very, very similar fashion. So yes, you're responsible for using a different third-party system if you choose to do it, but it's not that different to file claims on multiple systems. I think I caught all the questions in there. Adam, anything to add on Jenny's question?
I think that covered that one.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so I'll click done on that one. All right, we have another question from Diana here. Diana is asking, if you have no experience in medical billing, how is that one will be able to provide the service? That's an excellent question. We get that question very frequently, and I will say that we have designed this program for people that are starting from zero. I would say well over half of the people that go through our program have not only never done billing, but have never even been in healthcare in any form or fashion. They come from completely different backgrounds. And so we take people from zero in our training and we show them exactly how the system works. We give them a very good overview of medical billing terminology, how the process claims. But what we do is, the initial training, which we didn't even really cover this yet, but our initial training is done live with an instructor over Zoom, and it's 10 modules that are about 90 minutes apiece. Okay, so we have a limited amount of time in that, and we have discovered that the most valuable use of that time is to show you how to get clients, how to develop the business, how to market, how to get clients. That's the most important part. So the focus of the initial training is much more on the marketing, business development side, because we have many, many hours of recorded training, e-learning, go at your own pace on our private support website in terms of technical know-how, billing, how to actually do it. We also have a support team that will handhold you and literally do live one-on-one billing training for as long as you need it. Even if you get a client and you're like, hey, can you help me do the billing on this new client I just got? They will do it with you live over Zoom and show you exactly how to do live claims. And that's the best way to learn, in my opinion. The other thing I want to say to that is, Diana, how much money do you want to make? Because if you want to just replace your current income, yeah, I mean, you could probably just do the work yourself. If you want to take it to a whole nother level and make 3 or 4 times what you're making now, you want to think in terms of being the owner of the business, and you want to have people doing this work for you. And that's another thing that we can provide, Diana. When you get to a point where you've got, maybe 2 or 3 clients and you're like, okay, this is taking me a while to do all this work. We have resources where we can add on additional full-time employees for you at a very reasonable cost. What is that cost? Well, it depends on what work they're doing. But we have a partner that can provide full-time employees for somewhere around $1,800 a month for a full-time employee. So you do have to have client revenue coming in to make sense to do that. But my point is we can help you grow. I mean, aside from all that, you could hire a friend or a family member right out of the gate. I mean, if you've got like a like a college student, like a son or daughter or somebody who's looking to make a couple extra bucks, you could pay them diddly squat to do the work if you want. It's not that hard, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can get it done, and we can provide you with training on how to do it. But my recommendation is to very quickly hire other people to do it if you really want to grow this thing to be something big. Did I cover that?
You covered it. Thanks, Diana. Great questions. We appreciate it. Jenny's got another question. Does ABS provide an owner website, or is that on the owner? And then what about business insurance? So yes, absolutely. We have a template-based design that you'll choose from. I think we have like 10 different templates. Mm-hmm. We have a marketing company we're partnered with for the website. They have a package deal that includes, of course, the templates, publishing the site, doing some light customization with your business information and that sort of thing, getting your email set up properly. It includes the hosting and the domain registration, and it's like $20 a month. So, a little over $200 a year for the website, but it's a turnkey solution. Basically, all they need is your company information, and they can have that site live in a couple of days. So it's a really quick process.
We can send you examples as well. Yeah, you can ask your ABS rep.
Yeah.
We can send you some examples of what they look like.
Yeah, they're nice sites, modern designs, mobile friendly. It's what you would expect to see from a nice professional website. As far as business insurance, 99% of our owners run their businesses out of their homes. So, you don't really need a general liability type policy because nobody's going to slip and fall. The doctor's not coming to your house to hand the claims over to you by hand or anything. So, no general liability. But having an errors and omissions policy once you start getting clients is not a bad idea. I'm not aware in 32 years of a single owner having to use an insurance policy like that, with any kind of litigation, I'm not aware of any problem ever. I mean, Adam, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I've never heard of an issue. But having an inexpensive errors and emissions policy is not a bad idea. They're usually $200-300 a year range, and there's loads of companies that offer it. That is something that's covered in training, but it's your choice. You can carry it if you want. If you don't want to have the policy, you're probably safe. But thanks, Jenny. Great question. We appreciate you interacting here. It makes these webinars a lot more fun when we're going back and forth with these questions. So thanks for joining and participating.
Yeah, Kelly is asking, is specializing in doing billing for mental health professionals lucrative? I'm curious to know if maybe you're in that industry, if that's why you're asking. So we actually did a series recently on some specialties that make for excellent first client or second client for people that are just starting out. And mental health is 100% on that list. I would say they are not necessarily lucrative in terms of making tons of money, unless you start signing up multiple multiple mental health therapists and professionals, because a lot of them are, in a solo practice or smaller practice. But the cool thing is we have developed marketing materials, ebooks, presentations, strategy guides for marketing specifically for mental health. And so we make it really, really easy for you to go down that road and focus on that industry. And they're easy clients to get. A lot of them do go to networking events. And the cool thing also is, and we've heard this from some of our other business owners, is they will spread the word. Like if you sign up a small, solo provider and do a good job, they're gonna refer you to other mental health providers, and it could just snowball in that way. And then of course, now you're making money, because you've got several of those mental health providers signed up. So yeah, absolutely, a good market. Yep.
Yeah, just to tack on to what you just said there, Adam. Our owners do sometimes become the local expert in a certain area of medicine. We have one owner who became like the go-to chiropractor biller. So one word of caution, because I can see a couple of names on here that are very close to moving forward with investing with us and starting their businesses. You want to be careful that you don't become the solution in your area for a type of doctor that you don't want as your ideal client. Chiropractors tend to be low income for you, but can often be operationally challenging. Chiropractic, a lot of people don't have chiropractic on their healthcare coverage. And so chiropractors will try to code those procedures as physical therapy. It can be tough to get those claims paid sometimes. So chiropractic wouldn't probably be the zone that you would want to be the go-to solution for in your market. What you want is you want to be the cardiologist's, top solution choice. Cardiologist, you're going to make a pile of money. We have a lot of strong benefits for cardiologists built into the system. And if you sort of explore that vein of that type of medicine, you'll make a ton of money and you'll have a pretty good experience with your client mix. So just a word of caution for those of you who are close to jumping into this industry. Although you might think you would want to be the solution provider for every possible type of medicine that's out there, some of those you might not want to be. So enough said. Veronica has a question. If a client doesn't use an ABS platform, who would train the business owner on how to use the system? So Veronica, first of all, hello. Hope you and Jeff are doing well today. We touched on this before. When our owners choose to do the billing on a system that's not one of our partners, you're ultimately responsible for managing that and learning how to use the system. Of course, we're here to help as much as we can, but not all of these systems are created equal. Most of them are pretty simple to file medical claims on. So the difference between our platforms and any other platform is not going to be dramatic. But there are a few systems out there that are really kind of painful to file claims on. So you would want to absolutely talk with our support team before you agreed to do the billing for just any old random piece of software that the doctor might have, because you might be signing up for a real headache if they're using a old outdated system, and then that's going to cause you operational inefficiency as you try to manage that. So we'll guide you through that. But there's learning resources for every single platform that's out there. Most of the big ones, like the top 10 to 20 systems, it's very easy to learn how to file claims on it, and it's going to be very, very similar to our systems as well.
Yeah, I was going to say our support team is very well versed in the top, 5, 6, 7 platforms that we see out there, and so if they're using a well-known platform, chances are we can certainly help you navigate and get it done, get the work done. We're not going to just leave you hanging and tell you to just go do it. I mean, we're going to do what we can to help you with a screen share, figuring out where all the buttons are, whatever we got to do, we're going to do it. So,
Yeah, we're gonna probably run out of time here in a second. We're bumping up against the top of the hour. Maybe we'll go just a minute or two longer since we started a few minutes late. But Barry's question, he's asking, are all of these services from the same software provider, NextGen? So we're very transparent about NextGen. We feel lucky to have NextGen as a partner. They're an awesome company. We have 7 patents in the system. Over half of the doctors that do a demo of the NextGen system end up using it in their office. And remember, that's how we make money. They pay that $281 monthly subscription, and we get a little piece of it. So NextGen, yes, they're our premier partner. We have 3 additional software platforms, depending on what type of medicine it is. One of the other platforms might be a better fit. So most of the time, NextGen is the preferred solution, but in some cases, the recommendation might be one of our other partners. Appreciate all the questions, Barry. Thanks.
Yeah, should we go faster here? Pierre is asking, kind of summarizing, what happens after training in terms of support is what Pierre is asking. Like, what does support really look like? We have live answer US-based support team that answers the phone live. If you call our 800 number and push 2, the chances are pretty good that you'll get a live answer. If not, you leave a voicemail and you'll get a call back in 8 to 10 business hours maximum. They're usually really good about getting back to people. We also have email, of course, support tickets. We have a private support website that's 24/7, of course, with a knowledge base with tons and tons and tons of information in there that you can search on your own and get help that way. We just launched a brand new community where you can post. It's like a bulletin board. You can post and communicate with other business owners. We have a private Facebook group where you can communicate with other business owners as well. So there's a lot of connection that you can make with human beings. He says something about are using AI scripted responses and stuff. No, this is all live people answering real phone calls. We're not doing any of that chat bots or anything, not yet anyway.
Oh, this can be so frustrating.
Yeah.
Live agent. Yeah.
So I think that pretty much covers that one.
Yeah, thanks, Pierre. Appreciate it. Barry has another question. This one's super easy. Barry's asking, if I want to pursue clients outside of my local area, is that possible? Absolutely. ABS does not have any marketing territorial restrictions whatsoever. You can get clients anywhere in the US. The only thing that we don't allow is if you happen to bump into another ABS owner and that owner was already providing services to the client that you got referred to, we wouldn't allow you to displace the current ABS owner. And the reverse of that is true. If somebody got a referral to one of your clients, we would not allow them to displace you. So we have client protection, but we don't have any kind of marketing territory restrictions. That's something we're very proud of with our model, and it works very, very well for this industry.
All right. Jenny is asking, is there any kind of list old school cold calling list that shows which medical practices have their billing in-house. There's not necessarily one that shows who's doing in-house versus outsourcing, but we have a really cool new methodology for ways to get lead lists and then do a very deep dive as far as gathering intel on those leads. So we can get very specific on helping you kind of custom tailor a lead list based on all kinds of different parameters, and then go and figure out through doing some intel, that some different resources that we have, who's going to be the top ones that you should reach out to. We also now are offering 1 free year of Zoho CRM. So that's a customer management sales marketing program for those that don't know. And we have a built-in email marketing campaign in that program that we help you set up, so that you can take these leads that we help you get and do intel on and put them into a campaign, offering them free ebooks and different what we call lead magnets, things that people click on, and then you get their name and email and stuff. So a lot of cool things that we've rolled out this year, kind of along those lines of what you're asking about lead lists. So really cool stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. Let's do this one last question and then we'll wrap up. Diana's asking, is NextGen utilizing AI? Absolutely. Several different AI features, most recently a feature called Ambient Assist, which is an audio listening and parsing AI. And basically the doctor hits the record button, it records the entire patient encounter, and then the AI does its wizardry and it puts all the chart notes in the right place so the doctor is hands-free. It literally listens to the back and forth dialogue between the patient and doctor and just puts all the relevant data into the chart notes. So it mostly automates the charting. I would recommend, Diana, for you and anybody else on the webinar today, if you haven't had a demo of the system, ask your ABS rep for a demo. That's one of the great steps in our due diligence process, and we can kind of wrap up here. Here's our due diligence process steps. If you haven't seen our research guide, ask your rep. They can get that to you. Check out our YouTube channel. If you haven't seen a reference list, shoot an email to your ABS rep and they can get a list of some of our owners who you can text and set up a time to have a call and ask questions directly. I just mentioned the live software demo. Really, really good idea to get a software demo and take a look at the system. If you haven't had that yet and you're getting close to a decision, absolutely do that. And then if you're ready to move forward and you want to join the ABS family and launch your business with us, you can ask your rep for our purchase agreement and we'll get you straight into funding and training.